Hello, and today we are going to make a quick tutorial on how to make a particle body. This is a nice little feature you can add to an avatar to make it kind of unique on the dance floor. Although it's not the most optimized option, but it is fun to do. First, we're going to right click on our character, and we are going to go to Effect and a Particle System. We can rename it what you want. I'm going to leave it as is for now. We're going to go down to Shape and go to Skin Mesh Render. From there, you drag your body into the mesh slot, and now it's emitting from the body itself. But that's not fully what we want. We're actually going to turn off the speed. We're going to lower the size, and we are going to up the emission by quite a bit. Where is that at? Emission. Now we are maxing out our total number of particles right there. You can see we are at 1,000. So we can lower the life. This will make it live. They won't last as long. We're going to click on our body and we're actually going to toggle it off. And that's basically all you need to do for this. This particles will follow your character's movement even though you're not there. We do want to change it to world. And let's see what some other things we can do. If we want, we can add a color to it. We can add a gradient, would be fun. And if we just make a whole bunch of different colors. Red, and blue, and green, and that will be yellow. And then over the life, it'll change to all those colors. You could increase the size, you can decrease the size. If you're using Pyomi, you can use that to override your colors as well. You can make it all linked together like a hue shift. But we see that we're not maxing out our particles. If we are, we either have to lower the emission or increase the maximum particles, but I don't really recommend that. You don't want to go too high in that. You can change it from vertex to an edge. That'll make it so you won't get as many internal particles, internal edges, because it's not going to be hitting the vertices on the inside. But this is a fun little effect. If you go into play mode, you can kind of get a better idea of what it will look like, because you're basically, this is your avatar now. So if you go into like AFK mode, you'll see that you slowly kind of transform into the position. It's almost like there's a lag to everything. Going into T-pose, if we go into like a running animation right here, you can see that we slowly kind of transform into the new position. If you want to be more accurate to your character's body and your body movement, you can always increase the simulation speed. The faster you do that, the faster the particles are going to move out, but the more accurate it will be to your movement. And also the more or less optimized it's going to be. But now if we go into that, you really look like an outline of your character's movement. You can see right there. Or if we're doing like a sit down to a standing position. What's another fun thing we could do? Another thing we could do, we're going to go back to the simulation speed, go back to 1. Instead of it being an emission, we can actually make it a burst. And if we do it as a burst, we need to think about our duration, because our duration is every time it does the burst. So it'll do it at 0, then when this gets to 5, it'll do another one. And since our particle life is only 1, it dies at the 3 mark. So 1, 2, 3, then it just dies. For 5, it comes back. 1, 2, 3, it dies, and at 5, it comes back. We can make it so it bursts every time at the 1 mark, so it's making a new burst of them every 1 second. and we can have 3 of them. So basically now it's almost like we have a lag going on here. We are, oh, I'm sorry. I was moving the wrong thing. I'm going to lock this real quick. So now it almost looks like we're kind of lagging behind everything else. It's a fun effect. You may want to, at that point, to make it less laggy, increase the duration or decrease duration even more. And probably you don't want the life to be very long either. We are maxing out our number of particles, so we either need to lower the count. Actually, well, that was exactly enough. So if we keep that at 200, we're having 5 total because 2 times 5 is 1. And now we'll kind of have more of a less of a lag in between, and it gives us a fun little kind of effect is the best way to describe it. So if we go to our character now and we do like a motion, you'll see that we're kind of like, it almost looks like we're lagging behind in a way, and we're a particle system. It's fun on the dance floor to do things like that. If you are in a club where they allow that many particles, there's a good possibility that users can get blocked, but it's something you can do. Now, another thing I like to do when I'm doing a burst particle system is you can actually give yourself a bit of a gravity. So we're going to make it a curve, and this way it'll only affect near the end. So our particle will be alive, not move at all, and then eventually it will burst down. And we're going to make this a pretty high number. We're going to get a 3. So we have we're there for just a moment, then we fall. And we are going to give it a collision. Make that a bit smaller. There you go. And we are going to make it hit only the default and the environment. Now, why would we do this? It's kind of a fun little... Oh, one last thing. We don't want it to bounce. It's going to make a mess. Instead of a bounce, we're going to give it a dampen so that it'll stop in place. Now, if I make something like a plane, which has a collision, zero this guy out. Now what will happen is when we hit the floor, we actually will leave ourselves on the floor. And again, like I said, I don't know what you'd want to do this for. I've done it before. I've had a lot of people say it looks really cool. You could do this with any type of mesh. You just need to do a skin mesh render, and it will copy and follow the movement. So if you want to do like a sword or horns or something of that nature, you can. But that should be the end of this tutorial. Anyway, take care.